Welcome. They were the places everyone talked about, the spots families saved up for, and travelers chased across the country. Now they're nothing but memories and forgotten ruins. Hetch Hetchy Valley, California, USA. Once rivaling Yosemite in beauty, Hetch Hetchy Valley vanished beneath water in 1938. The O'Shaughnessy Dam flooded the glacial valley to create a reservoir for San Francisco. Today, only the steep granite walls remain visible above the surface of what was once a natural wonder. Jeffrey Pine, Yosemite, USA. Once among the world's most photographed trees, the wind-sculpted Jeffrey Pine crowned Yosemite's Sentinel Dome for centuries. It died during the 1977 drought and finally fell in 2003 after fierce storms. Its twisted trunk still lies in place, a silent echo of Yosemite's changing wilderness. Lake Poopó, Bolivia. Bolivia's second-largest lake once stretched over 1,000 square miles and teemed with wildlife and flamingos. By 2015, droughts, warming, and water diversion left it a cracked salt plain. Though it briefly refills during heavy rains, scientists warn its ecosystem and culture are gone for good. Crystal Palace, London, UK. Built for the 1851 Great Exhibition, the Crystal Palace was a marvel of glass and steel later moved to South London. It burned down in 1936, leaving only terraces and sculptures in what is now Crystal Palace Park. Restoration projects continue to revive echoes of its Victorian grandeur. Original Madison Square Garden, New York, USA. Built in 1874 by William Kissam Vanderbilt, the first Madison Square Garden hosted P.T. Barnum's circus and elite horse shows. Its open-air design proved impractical, freezing in winter and stifling in summer. Demolished in 1889, it made way for the New York Life Building. Old Man of the Mountain, New Hampshire, USA. For millennia, granite ledges and Franconia notch formed a perfect profile of a man's face. New Hampshire's beloved Old Man of the Mountain. In May 2003, it crumbled overnight. A memorial now stands at the base, aligning steel outlines with the sky, where the old man once gazed. Pink and white terraces, New Zealand. Once called the eighth wonder of the world, these pink and white mineral pools were destroyed in 1886 when Mount Tarawera erupted. The explosion buried them beneath Lake Rotomahana, which grew to 20 times its size. The terraces now rest over 200 feet underwater, lost to history. Duckbill Rock, Oregon, USA. For decades, this sandstone duckbill perched above the waves at Cape Kiwanda, a favorite among travelers and photographers. In 2016, it was deliberately toppled by vandals who called it a safety hazard. The act sparked national outrage, leaving only shattered stone where a landmark once stood. Buddhas of Bamiyan, Afghanistan. Carved in the 6th century, the towering Buddhas of Bamiyan stood for 1,500 years before the Taliban demolished them in 2001. Their empty niches remain carved into the cliffs, haunting silhouettes of faith erased by war. A holographic projection briefly restored their image in 2015. Imperial Hotel, Tokyo, Japan. Frank Lloyd Wright's 1923. Imperial Hotel survived earthquakes and war but fell to modernization in 1967. Built with floating foundations and Oya stone, it famously withstood the Great Kanto quake. A replica facade now stands in the Meiji Mura Museum, the last echo of Wright's lost Tokyo masterpiece. Six Flags, New Orleans, USA. Opened in 2000, this Six Flags park was destroyed by Hurricane Katrina 5 years later. Rusting rides and flooded grounds became eerie film sets for Jurassic World. In 2024, demolition began to clear the site for a $500 million redevelopment. turning decay into a new entertainment complex by 2027. Hippodrome Theater, New York, USA. Opened in 1905, New York's 5,200-seat Hippodrome dazzled with grand spectacles and affordable tickets for the masses. But mounting costs doomed it by 1939. Demolished the same year, its site now holds an office tower, where the echoes of elephants and orchestras once filled 6th Avenue. Wawona Tree, Yosemite, USA. A 2,100-year-old sequoia, once famous for its car-sized tunnel, the Wawona Tree stood as a symbol of Yosemite's early tourism. Damaged by the tunnel cut in 1881, it finally fell during a fierce winter storm in 1969. Its fallen trunk now lies where it fell. Central Park Casino, New York, USA. Built in 1864 by Calvert Vaux, the Central Park Casino became a glittering Prohibition-era hotspot. By 1935, critics called it elitist, and Parks Commissioner Robert Moses ordered its demolition. Today, the Rumsey Playfield stands where jazz, cocktails, and New York's high society once mingled. Penn Station, New York, USA. The original Penn Station, completed in 1910, was a Beaux-Arts masterpiece of stone arches and vaulted glass. Demolished in 1963 to cut costs, its destruction sparked New York's preservation movement. The cramped replacement remains controversial, though major restorations are now underway. Maya Bay, Thailand. Made famous by the beach, Maya Bay drew over 6,000 visitors daily to its turquoise lagoon. The crowds devastated coral reefs, forcing a closure in 2018. After years of recovery, it reopened with strict limits, a reminder of how fame can endanger paradise. Beacon Towers, New York, USA. Perched on Long Island's Gold Coast, Beacon Towers inspired the Great Gatsby's mansion. Once home to Alva Belmont and later William Randolph Hearst, its Gothic facade symbolized Gilded Age excess. Demolished in 1945, only the gatehouse remains, a ghost of Jazz Age grandeur. West Pier, Brighton, UK. Opened in 1866, Brighton's West Pier once hosted concerts and seaside revelry. Closed in 1975, it later collapsed during storms and burned in 2003. Today, its skeletal frame stands adrift in the sea, a haunting silhouette of the city's lost Victorian heyday. Wall Arch, Utah, USA. Once one of Arches National Park's largest formations, Wall Arch collapsed suddenly on August 4, 2008. Erosion had hollowed its core for centuries until gravity took over. The fallen sandstone now rests where it fell, a reminder that even the most enduring landmarks eventually give way to time. Palmyra, Syria. Founded in the 3rd millennium BC, Palmyra blended Greco-Roman and Persian design, its ruins long symbolizing Syria's ancient grandeur. ISIS destroyed key monuments between 2015-2017, including the Temple of Bel. Restoration has begun. But war and politics still shadow the city's fragile revival. City Hall, San Francisco, USA. Completed in 1897. After 27 years of work, San Francisco's grand French-style City Hall collapsed in the 1906 earthquake. The structure, built without steel reinforcement, crumbled within minutes. A new City Hall rose nearby, but the original's brief glory vanished into dust and fire. Chacaltaya Glacier, Bolivia. For 18,000 years, this glacier crowned the Andes and hosted the world's highest ski resort. But rising temperatures melted it away decades earlier than predicted. By 2009, Chacaltaya had vanished entirely, leaving behind only bare rock and the empty shell of a lodge perched high above La Paz. New Elbe Bridge, Hamburg, Germany. Opened in 1887, the New Elbe Bridge was Hamburg's first permanent road link across the river, framed by striking neo-Gothic towers. By 1959, post-war traffic demands required widening, and its ornate portals were demolished, a casualty of modern expansion in a thriving city. Sycamore Gap Tree, England. For centuries, a lone sycamore stood in a dip along Hadrian's Wall, one of Britain's most beloved sites. In 2023, vandals felled it overnight, leaving only a stump. Its seeds have been saved and nurtured in secret, offering hope that the tree's legacy might one day return to the Northumberland Hills. 12 Apostles, Victoria, Australia. These towering sea stacks were never 12, but their biblical names stuck. Carved from limestone over millions of years, only 7 remain today. 2 collapsed in 2005 and 2009 as the same relentless waves that created them continued their slow work of destruction along the Great Ocean Road. Midway Gardens, Chicago, USA. Designed by Frank Lloyd Wright and opened in 1914, Midway Gardens was a dazzling arts complex of music halls and beer gardens. Closed in 1929 and demolished soon after, its reinforced concrete proved so tough it bankrupted the wrecking company. Wright's defiant mark on Chicago's skyline. Aral Sea, Kazakhstan. Once the world's 4th largest lake, the Aral Sea has almost vanished. Soviet irrigation projects diverted its rivers in the 1960s, and by the 1990s, the vast water body was replaced by desert. Today, shipwrecks rest on dry sand, relics of a sea that existed within living memory. Cornelius Vanderbilt Mansion, New York, USA. Once Fifth Avenue's grandest mansion, Vanderbilt's French chateau-style palace spanned an entire block. Torn down in 1927, its site became Bergdorf Goodman. Salvaged interiors now rest in the Met, and its ornate iron gates still frame the entrance to Central Park, a whisper of Gilded Age opulence. Sutro Baths, San Francisco, USA. Once the world's largest indoor swimming complex, the Sutro Baths opened in 1896 with 7 pools and space for 10,000 visitors. After years of decline, demolition began in 1964, and a fire destroyed the rest 2 years later. Only concrete ruins remain, overlooking the Pacific surf. Nergal Gate, Nineveh, Iraq. Built around 700 BC, Nineveh's Nergal Gate guarded the Assyrian capital with colossal winged bulls symbolizing divine protection. In 2015, ISIS militants destroyed it with drills and bulldozers, erasing one of Mesopotamia's most iconic relics. Reconstruction plans remain uncertain. Ökjökull Glacier, Iceland. Once spanning 6 square miles atop Oki volcano, Ökjökull vanished under rising global temperatures. Declared dead ice in 2014, it became Iceland's first glacier lost to climate change. Today, only bare volcanic rock remains, marked by a plaque mourning the country's disappearing ice. River Country, Disney World, USA. Opened in 1976 as Disney's first water park, River Country used natural lake water and rustic design to evoke an old-fashioned swimming hole. Overshadowed by newer parks, it closed in 2001. Nature reclaimed its slides and docks, turning Disney's dreamland into a quiet ruin. Cathedral of the Blessed Sacrament, Christchurch, New Zealand. Completed in 1905, Christchurch's Grand Cathedral was a masterpiece of limestone and concrete. Damaged by quakes in 2010 and 2011, it stood fenced and crumbling for a decade. In 2021, demolition ended its century-long presence, a solemn loss to New Zealand's architectural heritage. The Azure Window, Gozo, Malta. A defining Maltese landmark, the Azure Window drew tourists and filmmakers alike. In March 2017, storms finally brought the limestone arch crashing into the sea. Though erosion had long threatened it, its sudden fall stunned locals, the horizon of Gozo now permanently altered. Dogpatch USA, Arkansas, USA. Opened in 1968, Dogpatch USA was a hillbilly-themed park in the Ozarks, once bustling with visitors. Financial troubles and failed expansions doomed it by 1993. Now overgrown and silent, its broken rides and mossy signs linger as relics of mid-century Americana. Tree of Tener, Niger. Standing alone in the Sahara, over 250 miles from the nearest tree, this acacia was once the most isolated tree on Earth. In 1973, a truck driver struck it, ending its centuries-old life. A metal sculpture now marks the spot, while the original trunk rests in Niger's National Museum.